welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here today because we are setting the stage for a truly fascinating dive into 17th century architectural history. Seriously, we're going to unpack the incredible true story behind one of the most recognizable structures on the planet, the Taj Mahal. But look, we aren't just going to marvel at how beautiful it is. No, we're looking at the raw data, the historical records, and the actual engineering reality of how this megastructure was pulled off.
Okay, let's dive right into this. It sounds like a simple premise, but I really want you to think about it for a second. How was the Taj Mahal built without modern machines? I mean, we live in an era where skyscrapers just shoot up in a matter of months, right? We've got heavy machinery, computerized logistics, advanced robotics, the whole shebang. The builders of the Taj Mahal, they had absolutely none of that. So this explainer is going to reveal exactly how a monument of such flawless symmetry and colossal scale was erected in an era defined by a total absence of modern technology.
Section 1. Miracle without machines.
I really want to emphasize exactly what these builders lacked, because it makes the reality of their achievement feel almost impossible. No cranes, no power tools, no diesel trucks. Just picture it. Staring at this massive empty plot of land, knowing you have to build a towering, perfectly symmetrical marble mausoleum, and your only real resource is human ingenuity. Every single carved stone, every massive pillar, it all had to be manipulated by hand, by beast, and by gravity. Crazy, right?
Section 2. The beginning of construction.
Let's see how this timeline builds. Okay, so in 1632 AD, construction was officially started by the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan. And the motivation here is absolutely key. It was commissioned in memory of his wife Mumtaz Mahal. This wasn't just a building, it was an emperor's ultimate tribute, which meant the standards were impossibly high. Moving on to 1648 AD, that's when the main mausoleum was finally completed. Think about that. That is roughly 16 grueling years of continuous, back-breaking labor just for the central structure. And actually scratch that, they weren't even done. For the following years, the rest of the massive complex, the gardens, the gateways, the outlying buildings, those were painstakingly finished. This was a literal multi-decade test of endurance.
Section 3. An army of 20,000 artisans.
20,000. I really want that number to sink in for a second. This isn't some rough estimate of the local population. This represents the staggering amount of artisans deployed to this single construction site. We are talking about a workforce the size of a small city, entirely dedicated to carving, lifting, and placing stone day in and day out for over a decade and a half.
And hey, this isn't just a myth. According to historical records and the general consensus of modern historians, approximately 20,000 artisans participated in the construction of this grand monument. To manage, feed, coordinate, and just utilize 20,000 individual craftsmen, we're talking stonecutters, inlayers, carvers, painters, calligraphers, laborers, without modern communication tools, that is a logistical triumph all on its own. Honestly, it's a true masterclass in ancient project management.
Section 4. Techniques of ancient engineering.
Now, what's really interesting about this is where we encounter an immense logistical hurdle. That brilliant white marble that gives the Taj Mahal its iconic ethereal glow, it wasn't just dug up next door. No way! It was sourced directly from Makrona in Rajasthan. To put that into perspective, we're talking about transporting incredibly heavy, massive blocks of solid stone across hundreds of miles of really harsh terrain. Just getting the primary building material to the site was an unparalleled feat of heavy transport.
So the crucial point here is how they actually moved these materials and assembled them into a towering masterpiece. Let's walk through this step by step. First, to get that Makrona marble across the country, they utilized a massive fleet of elephants and bullock carts. Basically, nature's heavy machinery, right? Second, once the stones arrived, how do you get a multi-ton block of marble hundreds of feet into the air without a crane? Well, you build massive earthen ramps. They literally piled up the earth to create gradual slopes that were miles long alongside extensive wooden scaffolding. And third, to do the fine vertical lifting, they relied entirely on complex systems of ropes and pulleys. Just picture this bustling 17th century construction site for a second. Tens of thousands of workers, the sounds of elephants, the creaking of massive wooden pulleys, and this literal mountain of earth slowly rising alongside the glowing white marble. It's like a giant puzzle coming together.
Section 5. Today's World Heritage.
And this brilliantly illustrates how ancient ingenuity translates directly into prestigious modern status. The result of those 20,000 artisans hauling Makrona marble up earthen ramps is a monument so culturally and architecturally significant that today it's strictly protected as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Plus, its breathtaking symmetry and rich history earned it a well-deserved spot as one of the new 7 wonders of the world. It really stands not just as a monument to an emperor's wife, but for sure as a monument to human potential.
Which leaves us with a totally fascinating question to wrap up this explainer. Could modern architecture ever replicate such a masterpiece using only 17th century tools? If we took away our cranes, our diesel trucks, our computer-aided design, could we really orchestrate 20,000 people to build something this timeless? It's a provocative thought, and it really highlights the unmatched scale of this historical engineering miracle. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this explainer. Keep asking questions and keep exploring the history that built our world.